Would you live in a van for 6 months for $100,000 and why? Don't people pay upwards of $100K to buy a van and do this for real? I know at least one person who genuinely wants to do this. Instagram people who want to go on weekenders and be an influencer spend $100,000 on a van. The rest of us are more in the $5-10K neighborhood, maybe a little higher for some. What it is about becoming a transient rubber tramp that makes people think you need a bunch of money. It's literally just voluntary homelessness. It is incredibly cheap living. Not unless you're confusing a van with a recreational vehicle. I don't think the op is asking if people would spend a year traveling in a high-end RV. Edit, thanks for all the replies guys. I'm sure the op was asking if you would live in the craziest $100K plus custom van your little minds could dream up. Totally the spirit of the question. Appreciate you all. As long as I have food, water and all the necessary stuff to live, I definitively would. You get 100K. That's all you need to survive. It's a van, it is what you put in it. Why you ask? Why, it's $100,000, that's why. Even converting the money in my own currency, £72,000 is still a lot of money. These kind of questions are always just another cake or death scenario. The van was in a fatal hit and run and the wealthy driver wants it filled with evidence pointing at you. I did this for a year already, pay me Eddie, paid in gold, nice. I did this in an Oldsmobile Delta 88 for about a year. Even had a roommate live in the front seat for a few months. Sorry, all I got is upvotes. I'd live in a garbage can for 6 months for that money. Edit, yay, my highest rated comment is about living in a garbage can. What a time to be alive. Oscar? Edit, how do you think I feel? All I fucking did was say Oscar. Remember it's garbage can not garbage can't. Yeah, because I'm not a fucking idiot. It's another one of those questions, would you do a mild inconvenience for tons of money kinda deals? Well of course we would. I just assume kids with no real idea of money ask these questions. As long as it's down by the river. Only if Matt Foley is my neighbor. Was wondering how far I would have to scroll before I saw this. Yes. The reason is the money. Yeah, these questions are ridiculous considering that, for instance, $100,000 for 6 months is over 3 times more than the median income. The more interesting question than would you do, mildly bad thing, for a ton of money? Is what amount would you accept to do, bad thing? Treat it like a reverse auction in your mind. How low would you go? No fucking way I'm paying $100,000 to live in a van for 6 months. This guy is the only interesting response in the thread. Also a valid one based on the ambiguity of the title. I'm with you though. Clearly you haven't seen NYC real estate costs. Done so. I'll take it in cash, please. Catch, the $100,000 is in Taco Bell gift cards, Mr. Beast style. Op wasn't clear, you actually owe $100,000 now. Renovate the van, make it comfortable, defo worth it for 100K. It'd be perfect as long as I have access to a public bath/shower area that I can clean up regularly for cheap/free. Some truck drivers actually do this to save money instead of renting a home. They can do this for a few decades and retire comfortably at a proper home afterward. Fuck that, put a minimal amount into a cot, sleeping bag, insulation, solar panel and battery and cooking supplies. Pocket as much as possible after 6 months. Furnishing and making it nice adds up fast, especially the vans I've seen get built. A few years back the company I had been working for folded, but they gave everyone a pretty healthy severance package. I spent the summer just living off that while I lined up a new job in another city. As I was moving to the new city I took the scenic route and saw an old VW camper van for sale for a pretty reasonable amount. I'm still kicking myself that I didn't see that earlier and just live in it all summer. So yeah, super gladly. Some of those are hit and miss I hear. What vintage? VW vans are cool but hard for living in. Not impossible tow. Impossible for me to since I'm living with my fiancé. I used to hate the 90s ones and only like the 70s and 60s one. Now I'm the opposite. 90s VW would be the perfect weekend trip vehicle. r/van dwellers. You guys are getting paid? Yep. Op didn't say kind of van. It didn't come out of the 100k. This pimped out Mercedes Sprinter would be a no-brainer for even 50k. I think Hop had no clue how much millennials want to desperately run away and live in vans. Nah. It's PC no. I make enough money that this would actually cost me money isn't interesting, so no one would upvote it so it doesn't get posted. As a millennial that ran away to live in something comparable to a van the second COVID hit, it's fun but winter has kinda sucked. Absolutely. If there really aren't any rules, then I'd just park it in my driveway. I don't care that much about sleeping in a van for half a year, assuming that's the criteria. They didn't even take the time to make ridiculous rules. I'll live in the van, shower and eat at my house. I'll choose April to October and I'll be good on weather. I could buy an air mattress without having to touch the 100k. That's where I am too. If I can keep my house and my family can still live there, then I'm in. No, I make decent money and I am a bougie bitch and like my creature comforts. I think most folks in this thread wouldn't actually step up to the challenge when it came to figuring out how to live their life out of a van. Got pets? Do you remote into work? Where do you go to shower? Does it get cold where you live? Are you responsible for feeding yourself and staying warm while in said van? There's a ton of sacrifice in the fine print. It works best if you're young and don't have much to your name, and even then, it will suck serious ass. Would not recommend unless you have an idea what it's like. I also wouldn't do it. 100k is not a life-changing amount for me right now. I like the house I live in and using the things I have in it. With you there. It's kinda weird, like I work to afford my lifestyle but living in a van and 100k would allow me to keep doing so. But would I rather be comfortable over those 6 months than have 100k flat out? I think I'd say no as well. I don't make a ton of money but yay, comfort is a big thing. Also, survival. It was -20 a few days ago where I live. What am I gonna do, sleep with the van running? That's wicked dangerous. Always scared to comment stuff like this because I don't want it to seem like I'm flexing, but also it's very true. At some point, monetarily, comfort means a lot more than money. I think there's definitely a price I would do it at, but not for 100k. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.